Say there. So we're starting, we're learning the daf, we're in Zevachim daf mem beis. And we're starting the two dots, daf mem aleph and mem beis, right in the bottom. Mem aleph and mem beis. No, yeah. So we have is, the Gemara just told us the following. The Gemara was telling us something. It's a concept, conceptually it's a little hard, but that's how we start. We just started our new sugya in the last part of Shabbos. The sugya goes like this. There is, and when you have an avodah, just to summarize it, we know there's four avodas of the carbon. Kenigdam, parallel to there's a mincha, as we're for. That's clear when a person does a pigul in one of these avodas, so it makes the carbon puzzle. Now, what happens when you have an avodah that has multiple stages to it? In the lashon of the Gemara, that's called matiri. Matiri means this avodah has, it's not one thing does the matir. There is a few things that do the matir. Each one is called chatzi matir. It's only half of matir, only a portion of the matir. What happens if you did pigul, only a portion of it? So if the Gemara brought a case, the Gemara said before, if you have, the Gemara spoke about minachas, and mincha, you do flour in the mizbeach. So there's two things that go on the mizbeach. There is the kmitza. Kmitza, there's the kohen takes 3 fingers, sticks it in, puts it on the mizbeach.
It's flour.
Flour. There's another thing that goes on the mizbeach, it's called levoino. Levoino is a spice. So you have two things going on the mizbeach, mincha and levoino. It says the Gemara brings a discussion, we have menachas. What happens if you did a pigul only on the kmitza, only on the levoino? So Rabbanan say, no pigul. Pigul needs to be on the whole matir, not a chatzi matir. Here you have, to do this process called a haktara, I have two stages. I have flour and I have levoino. If you did pigul only in one, it's not the other one. Chatzi mat doesn't work. Rameir said, if you did the kmitza with pigul and you did the levoino with no pigul, it is pigul. It says Rish Lakish, what's the reason of Rameir? Not because he holds chatzi mat works. No. It's because he holds that stage one affects, meaning when I in stage one have pigul, I don't need to have in stage two the same machshava as pigul. Why? Because you have, I think we go based on machshava rishona. Kol lo'isel das rishona oisel. So meaning, if you start with pigul, even though you stopped afterwards thinking about pigul, you say it connects to the first one. Not because he holds chatzi matir is enough. Mine of Kimira, Rish Lakish, simple. What happens if he did pigul only in the second half, not in the first half? If you are old that according to Rameir, chatzi matir is enough, so I don't care where you did pigul. In the first part and the second part is pigul. But if you hold no, you really need pigul the whole thing. But if I did pigul in the first half, meal automatically goes to the second half, it has to be in the first. Right. That's the discussion. So Rish Lakish says, no, he holds everybody agrees chatzi matir is not a pigul. You have to do matir, you have to do pigul the whole thing. Rabbanan would say you have to literally think pigul in the whole thing. Where it says no, but to think pigul only on the first half. The second half automatically becomes pigul. One way to understand, we spoke about it in Shabbos a little more in length, but just to mention like a way that Sfazamos learns, the easy way to understand it, that once I start one thing, I don't have to think again. Automatically, it's as if I thought it. It's similar to what we learned in the beginning of the Masechta, that we create your senses to there. The base of the base, it says, Stamul Lishma. Once you start, I don't have to think the whole time, the same thing. Basically, what brings the question? Talk about the blood which is given on the outside mizbeach, on the base of the half. We talk about the blood going in the inside mizbeach. Keep going. Now, once the mizbeach, we know this goes back to the beginning of the parak that we started last week. Mizbeach hachitzon, once you do one's rika, you're done. Even though you have to do 4, only one is me'akiv. Mizbeach hachitzon, I have a lot in primi. I have a lot of everything in any process. So more now is going in this brayso. We're going to speak a bit more in length what I need to do. Kegoin, Arboim v'shalosh shel Yom Kippurim. 43 of Yom Kippur. 43. How do we get to 43? So Rashi says over here. He says like this. We know in Yom Kippur you do achas lamata, lamala, sheva lamata. Achas, shnayim, achas, v'shalosh, achas. What do we do achas lamata, sheva lamata? Where? So we do it once in the Kodesh Kodashim. He goes inside. And he does the achas lamata from 2 different bloods. The blood of the par, the bull, and blood of the seir, the goat. So he does achas lamata. How much is that? That's 8 achas, because you do 1 below, 1 above, 7 below, That's 8. That is of the par. Then I do one above, 7 below for the Seir. How much is that? 8 plus 8? 16. You do the same thing when it goes out of Kodesh on the Parichas. 16 plus 16 is? 32. Then, according to this Mandama, you mix up the par and the Seir together, one blood, and you put in the 4 corners of the Mizbeach HaPnimi. So 32 plus 4? 36. That's what it says. Sorry, I skipped something. We skip over here the what?
And you have,
right?
And
you have 7 Azoyas on Tahare. Very good. You have the 7 that put on top of the Mizbeach. So that's another 7 that gets to 43.
Okay.
So that's 43. So that's Yom Kippur. You have 43. It's different stages that together join to be 43. V'achadus HaShapar Kohen Mashiach is also the 4 and the 7. 4 in the Karnas, 7 in the Azor, that's 11. So that's Achadus HaPar Kohen Mashiach, Achadus HaShapar and Dosh Tzibur. That's why these are 11s. Pigel, Ben Barishoino, Ben Bashnio, Ben Bashlishis. Let's leave a second for now. By Par means Rishon Mishoino, Mishneh Pashas. But Yom Kippur is the easy one. You have the process in Kodesh Kodashim, that's number 1. You have the process on the Parichas, number 2. Then the process on the Mizbech, that's number 3. You did Pigel in either one of them, or Meir or Pigel. The Chavim will have Karst. The Choyim Mein will Karst, you Shifage B'chol HaMatir. The Choyim say you have to do Pigel the whole thing. You can't do it half Matir. But you see, according to Meir, you don't have to do you don't have the first one necessarily. Meir says you can do the Pigel, stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3. According to Rish Lakish, no. Meir holds you have to do Pigel in the whole thing. Just if you're doing the first, it's considered to be as if you did in the second and third. But here they says clearly you can do in the second or the third without doing the first. So clearly Meir holds that a half a matir is enough. Says the Gemara Ketani Mias, Pigel ben Barishoino, ben Bashnio, ben Bashlishis, Upolik, and Meir argues. So you see that he holds doesn't have to be the whole thing. What does it mean Pigel b'shchita echad matiro? So here you have 2 explanations of the Rishon. Let's focus on the explanation of Rashi, which Tosfos brings another explanation, says and then Rashi is right. So Rashi says a little more called complex. Rashi says that the way it works is like this. If they did avoid Yom Kippur, go into Kodesh Kodashim, they do the Kohen Gadol goes and does the 16 that are there, boom, the blood gets lost, spilled, it became possible. What do you do? So the din is he takes another par, another seir, he shechts them, and he puts them on the parichas.
Okay.
But meaning he doesn't start the process from the beginning. He starts the process with stage 2, with a new animal.
Right.
Let's say after stage number 2, the blood goes lost. So you shecht the korbanos again, par seir, and you start with stage number 3. Meaning you can do each stage individually, even though really there's 3 stages. We'll see maybe in a moment, maybe it's a 4 stage. Each stage can be done alone if the animals go away. So it says, we're talking about here, that he started a new stage on his own. So yes, when I have one animal and I have 3 stages, you have to do Pigel the whole thing. But here, he did the first animal, he's starting now a second animal. For that animal, that's the only matter. The A16, for example, in the Parichas. So he says, right? Viri is a full avodah. That's a full avodah for that one. So they're going, Yachim, my time and Jabon, so everybody argue. Everybody agrees to that. It's not a half a matir, it's a full matir. The cheat is Reb Lazar. Now that Koimitz, what is Reb Lazar when it comes with Reb Lazar? Reb Lazar holds that it's not an avodah until you do the whole thing. Where do we see it? It says like this. Now, Koimitz is the flour they put in this bech. Ve'alavoino, the spice. Haktoiris, we do ktoiris on the mizbeach inside. Uminchas kohanim, the mincha the kohanim bring pashas either when they do a chet or when they do the first day of the avodah. Uminchas kohen Mashiach, the mincha of a kohen Mashiach, kohen Gadol. Uminchas nesochim, regular mincha. Shekriv la'achas mehem kazais b'chutz. If he did it, one kazais outside, the din is chayav. Why he did outside? It's chiyuv of Isra Korah B'chutz. The Blazer should point out Shiakiv is Korah. The Blazer says, no. You can't do only portion. In order to be chayav, he has to do the whole thing. So what do you see for Blazer? You see a Blazer, it's very specific. Blazer holds that you need specifically to be the whole thing. Meaning, I can't do chutz machshava, to do something outside is a history. But that's only a problem. I did the whole thing outside. If I did a portion, is that. So immediately, was also here. If I went and I did a par, I did only one portion of Yom Kippur, it's not considered to be a full avodah. No, so that's true. We're going mincha, kmitzel. It wasn't like agrees with blood. We talk about the blood of the korban. It's different. Now, blood of it also agrees with the concept that the blood stopped. You take another korban, you start from where you finish. So you see, they don't have to do all together. You see that look at each stage, and so it's similar to what we said before. Right? So you see that by blood you look at differently. So you can't say this answer. So we're trying to say what's the answer. The answer is there's a difference if you do it. Maybe our blood will hold differently. We say our blood doesn't hold differently. Hello, my brother. Kegon shepigel b'rishono, b'shasak b'shnio, b'chazor or pigel b'shlishis. We're going back to the original idea. Rameir holds the only time we have pigels, you do pigel the whole thing. So what are you talking about? You have to do pigel the whole thing. So what does it mean in Rishon, Shni, Shlishis? It means like this. He did the Rishon, you have to do Rishon. The second stage, when you do the blood on the parichis, he was silent. And the third stage, he did it again. So Shaila is, do you say go based on the first? Maybe you only go based on the first when you did the first, then you were silent for the rest of the job. But if I did the first, then I was silent, then I did it again, maybe it shows me that my silence wasn't just continuing the first machshava, but I really was uprooting it. How the Taimo? If he really is just continuing his original machshava, so I has to do a new machshava in the third stage. So maybe he'll tell you the second stage is not real machshava. Kavashma. So that's the chiddush over here. It doesn't say shosak. He did pigul all three. So if he really is intending to just use his original machshava, so why does he have to do pigul again and again and again? Kamashmalan. Now, what is nafkamina for? So Rashi learns nafkamina is there's a fourth stage. Because Rashi says there's really 4 stages. Stage 1 is in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, 16 azos. Stage 2 is on the Parichas, 16 azos. Stage 3 is the 4 of the azah. Stage 4 is the 7 al tahar shemizbeach. So he said over here, he did pigul stage 1, he did pigul stage 2, he did pigul stage 3. He didn't do pigul stage 4.
Right.
So I'd say, okay, when do I say that if you think in the beginning, so the rest just follows through? When you do all these stage 1, I say, okay, you probably meant that the whole thing should continue. But here I'm doing again a machshava stage 2. I'm going to do a machshava stage 3. So maybe it shows you that I'm actually meaning a machshava, which is quiet, it doesn't work. That's the chiddush. Tais argues he holds the stage 4 is a shirayim. Not, he holds that, put it on his back, the 4 and the 7, is considered to be one stage. So stage 4 is throwing the leftover to the shirayim, the Tais goes on to discuss that. But what do you see over here? You see over here the idea, says the Gemara, according to our mayor, could be, according to Rishon, will tell you that if you had machshav in the beginning, it works for the rest. If you didn't have machshav in the beginning, no. Half matik doesn't work. But here, we're talking that he did 1, he did 2, he did 3, and the chiddush is that 4 you don't need to do is also considered to be going based on the first machshav. Says the one that the base on base.
You have to have the machshavas in order to. It's like
in the beginning.
In the beginning, it's like machshava kamaisa. It's like if you don't have the machshava, then it's lav kamaisa.
Right, but Rameir, according to Rameir holds that even if I have machshava, then I stopped having machshava, I just say it's continuing.
Right.
Very good. So go over Bein Tani. It says Ben Rishon, Bein Rishniyo. According to you, he did machshava Rishon Shniyo and Shlishis. He didn't do Rebis. So more kashu. It's a little bit of doichak to say that's the pshat, but they'll have to say I have no choice.
Okay.
So like one more Rami Oimer, Pigul v'chayovim lav kores. There's kores. Michte kores lo mechayev, achi korvu kol matiro. Now here comes the Gemara asks the question. Well, maybe as Akadama, just to come and say, because the question of the Gemara is a little hard to understand. But let's say it like this. We have a din. The din is, we learned it earlier, and we spoke about it when we started the parak. By pigul, you have to do a mehadrin pigul. In order to ruin the korban, it has to be mehadrin. How's it mehadrin? You have to have every other stage of the korban has to be done perfectly. So let's say a person goes, you have 4 avodas. He does shechita with pigul, but then he does Kabbalah, he ruins it. He does Kabbalah with a bad machshava, he does Kabbalah Loyal Shmuel or Shalom Kramer. It's not Pigul. Because Pigul needs to be that everything is perfect except the Pigul. Or, in a better way, the Pigul has to be a Mehabili Korban with one Pigul. If you want to say, if you want to really become a Koifer, you have to be like doing, like you have to be everything, one thing you do wrong. Like everything, if you do the whole thing wrong, you're not from. But if you're from, everything you do right, but one thing you do wrong, that's much worse, right? So the Pigul is a problem only when everything else is perfect. Now, so here the Gemara is asking the following. Let's say a person does, here comes, let's bring it as a question, and then we'll see how the Gemara asks the question. Person did shchita, for stage one of the avoid, does shchita, and he has Pigul. Ruin the carbon? Yes. Now he does Kabbalah. He does it perfectly. But is the Kabbalah good Kabbalah? Or already I'm saying it got ruined? So the answer is it's a good Kabbalah. Why? The Torah told me I do shchita. Now you're right, the carbon is already ruined. But if the Kabbalah did without any other issues, the Kabbalah will be good enough to ruin the carbon. The Zrika, it's already ruined. Right. But if you did it okay, it's going to make everything Pigul event. That's an irregular carbon. Now the Gemara has a problem. What's the Gemara? Says the Gemara, in order to be cursed, everything else has to be perfect. Meaning it has to be the way kosher, everything has to be perfect. Also the puzzle, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be done right. Once he had in stage one, let's say when he went to Kodesh Kadosh, he thought puzzle, so as if he did not do the sprinkling of the blood anymore. When he does the sprinkle of the Eichel, he's just throwing regular water. Meaning, the carbon is puzzle already. Too late. So you have to do everything perfect. You didn't do perfect. You did only stage one. That's a simple understanding in the Gemara. So Rashi explains what is Rashi saying. He went to Kodesh Kadoshim. He did it. He's doing it. He does Pigul. He goes out and does now on the Parichas. Too late. The Parichas is not doing anything. It's just water.
Right.
So ask everybody. Rashi himself asks. What do you mean? But it's always like that. When I do Shechita and I have a bad Pigul, Kabbalah, it's already too late. So Rashi is something which is a little hard to grasp. Rashi is like this. This is when I did a full avodah Pigul. I understand that the Torah said, even though stage in avodah 2, avodah 3, avodah is already too late, the carbon is possible. But as long as you did it right, it makes the carbon Pigul. But here I didn't finish stage 1. Stage 1 wasn't done yet.
Right.
So the Gemara now understands, if I didn't do stage 1, I don't have stage 1.
Right. That's
a Rashi. So Binu Taman takes this a little differently. He says the Gemara understood that when it's all in one place, so it's fine. But here I'm doing it in 2 different places. So I say, I ruined it here, the next place is too late. It's already out of place. That's what I want to say. Reb Chaim Brisker has a different the hair over here, different mahalach, to come and tell me there's a din Yom Kippurim that you have to do it because because we said before the korbanos can change. So every stage is a stage on its own. That's what he says. So melee, if I ruined stage 1, I could, let's say I did stage 1 and then it got lost. So stage 2, I start again.
Right.
So you see, each stage is a standalone stage. Okay. So what do you see? He says the Gemara. So really, according to Rabbi, the answer is similar to the question. According to Rabbi, we're talking about. I'll tell you why. You're right. Let's take Rashi's pshat. If I didn't do a full avodah perfectly, it's ruined. But here, every one of the zrikas is a full avodah, as we said before. Because if the blood spills, what are you going to do? Do a new behemoth, and you're not going to start from stage 1. You're going to start from stage 2. If the blood spills, and after stage 2, you do a new behemoth for stage 3.
Right.
So stage 1 can be done individually without stage 2 and 3. So he did Pigul stage 1. He brought another animal, did stage 2. So the first one was done completely Pigul. Stage 1 was done completely perfect. It's not half of avodah done not perfectly. So there's 4 parim, there's 4 serim, he does 4 stages. Rava says, like we said before, like we said, we're going to avoid this. The pigula miratze means that's what the Torah said. You're right. Really, once he did it wrong with the blood inside of Kodesh Kadoshim, everything is ruined. It's like really water.
Right.
But That's what the Torah said. The Torah said, as long as you continue the motions and you finish the process, it's a bigel. Even though really you're not doing anything. Okay. Now, so that's the sugya. Okay. For now, the Gemara go back to the moment. The Gemara stops a second, just 1 second. Our boy Mishal, we just ran a cheshbon, we got to 43. Right? 16 plus 16, then plus 4 plus 7.
Right.
It says the Gemara of Atanya, our boy Mishal.
Okay.
There's one number that says 47. So because remember, we have power, you have a bowl, you have a seir. So you do the power alone in Kodesh Kadosh, you do seir alone, that's 16. Right. Power in the parichas, that's 16.
Right.
So before we said, you put the power and seir together, you mix it, and then you do on the mizbeach, that's 4. And according to the other mandamai, for the 4 kindness, you don't mix it. So you do power in the 4 kindness, you do seir in the 4 kindness. So you have an extra 4. So instead of being 43, it's 47. 43 plus 4, you have 7 because you're not putting it together, the power and the seir.
Right. Okay.
It says the Gemara of Atanya Rabbi Mishmoyne. It's one number that says 48.
Okay.
Hakavandoma Shiraim Me'akvim. Hakavandoma ain't Shiraim Me'akvim. What's Shiraim? Shiraim is the leftover. So if the leftover have to spill on the Yisoid outside. Right. If it's Me'akvim, that's another avodah. So you have 48. So here there's Ramazim that what is 48? 48 is connected to the 48 resources, the covenants that we had with Turkish Baruch and Am Yisrael in Parshat Bechukoisai. So we have over here 48. There's 49 actually, but I want to say that the main thing is 48. Or the different places where it's brought down. Or it's Aboyim Shmoyne Kinyonim Shatorah Nikes Ben. It's 48 ways you acquire Torah. So Yom Kippurim, we're acquiring again the Torah. You have to have all 48 avodas.
That makes sense with Memches because Mayach.
Oh, very good, Mayach.
And if you spell without the vav, Memches.
You do spell without a vav.
Okay, so Mayach, and that's all Gemara we're talking about. You have to have the Mayach, you have to have the Kavadah.
The Kavadah, very good. Very good. Says the Gemara Meisive. We're going back to one again to that sugya just to end the sugya. Right. So if someone did pigul kmitza is by the mincha taking out the flour, which is equivalent to shrita. Matakli is putting it to the kli is equivalent to kabbalah. Hiluch is the walking. Aval balak toro comes to haktor, which you put on the fire. No, so it's like koimitz b'machshavo v'selavoyne b'shtiko. He did the koimitz, which is the flour going in his mizbeach, with pigul. But the levoino he did silently, or the opposite. He did the koimitz with silently. Like one understands that the koimitz was first, and then comes the levoino with pigul. Rameh or imer pigul v'chayav on the course. Rameh says clearly it's pigul. Chaimim ain't kabri kares that she fagel b'chol amater. Machom say after the whole matter. Chatzimah doesn't work. Ktani mios occurs b'shtiko v'slovoinu machshava upolig. Clearly, not like your shlokish. Rameh says clearly if you did the koimitz one sense first, and then you did the levoino with machshav's pigul, it's pigul. So you see, pigul is even half, even if it's not the first.
Right.
So he says the Gemara big doichak. No, we don't have an order. You don't have to do the koimitz before the levoina. You could do that. The order could be the opposite. So he says what it means over here. He did the levoina first. So with the way the Brisa says, he did koimitz b'shtiko, and the levoina was already done before with machshava. It was done first. Then it's piko, but it has to be done first. So what's the chiddush? I told you koimitz. And then levoina is pigul. Then levoina and then koimitz is pigul. So what's the chiddush? It says clear v'chakach. It says the Gemara kasha. Now here the chayim are bothered by kasha. Why? Because kasha, we know the rule is whenever you have a slug of question, I don't have an answer. It's called tiyuvta.
Right.
When you have an answer that you can say something and answer, but it's kasha. Why is it kasha? Because it to be a tiyuvta. This is a shlug of a real. It says it clearly. You do koimitz, then you do levoino. The pigul. You want to tell according to a mayor, it's a problem. And you said that if you do half, it's not a problem. Only when you do it first. To say that this is a hakach, it's a kasha to tiyuvta. So the chayim stay with this question.
Kasha.
But why is only a kasha? Yeah, kasha the kasha exactly. Okay, so we'll stop over here. We'll be Hashem. We'll continue tomorrow morning in the Mishnah.
Wow. If you think it was like that was like the theme. You mentioned it.